Hey everyone, welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars. If you haven't already, tap subscribe, give this a thumbs up, and tell us in the comments what authenticity means to you. Because tonight's tale is about a woman who turned honesty into a kind of glow you can't fake, Cemre Arda, and the man who knows how to make that glow laugh, Gawkberg Yildirim. London felt different last night. The Harper's Bazaar Women of the Year 2025 ceremony unfolded like a dream you could touch, chandeliers humming softly, gowns whispering across marble, and the warm electricity of stories waiting to be honored. In a room stitched with diamonds and the careful choreography of red carpet perfection, a quieter force took center stage. When Cemre Arda stepped into the hall, something subtle shifted. Heads turned, cameras did their inevitable dance, but the reason eyes stayed on her was simpler than sparkle. She wasn't performing a persona. She was letting herself be seen. When the announcement came, winner of the Women's Empowerment Award, Cemre Arda, it didn't ring like a headline. It landed like a verdict finally voiced, a truth catching up to the person who had been quietly embodying it. This wasn't about the loud kind of fame. It was about the kind of presence that makes people exhale and think, yes, that's what real looks like. Cemre's Instagram had already set the tone before the ceremony. 2 photos, side by side, were enough to crash the afternoon scroll. In the first, she let the morning breathe on her face. Hair tied back, no makeup, a simple cotton tee, soft light sliding over ordinary magic. No filters, no angles, just the woman who wakes up and starts a day. In the second, hours later, she appeared in a muted pastel gown that skimmed over her shoulders with quiet grace, the sort of dress that chooses elegance over spectacle. Her smile didn't sell the event, it greeted it. And under those photos, her caption did what she always does best, she laughed at the production line of glam while thanking it. My heroic veterans turned me into another human between Coffee 1 and Coffee 2. I owe them my neckline and my nerves. It wasn't fuss, it wasn't a thesis. It was clever, warm, and disarming. She never makes these moments solo. Her post read like a team portrait. She tagged the hairstylist who negotiated stubborn strands, the makeup artist who insisted glow as a strategy, the stylist who rethought a hem in the last 20 minutes, the designer who pinned courage into fabric. To my brilliant crew who sweated, argued with zippers, cried, laughed, and cheered me on, you are the reason the mirror smiled back tonight, she wrote, and you could tell she meant every vowel. The comments poured in like confetti thrown with sincerity. You're radiant without a drop of makeup, someone wrote. You make us feel proud to be women, said another. But the internet's favorite moment didn't belong to Cemre alone. Enter Gawkberg Yildirim in the comments section, as effortless as a breath. No dramatic flourish, no 100 heart emojis, no performative ode. Just his dry, unmistakable wit, the tone that says I know you without needing to explain it to anyone else. Hair, handled. 2 words, and the feed erupted. Fans screenshotted, reposted, quoted it with the kind of joy that comes from recognizing real intimacy. This is friendship and love, one follower wrote. Nothing staged, just 2 people who get each other, said another. Cemre slid back with a reply that carried the same playful intimacy, I still remember the day they finally tamed yours, Gawkberg. Laughter took over the thread. It wasn't a press release, it wasn't a campaign. It was the small-scale poetry that comes from years of companionable mischief. Of course, this is the internet, comparisons arrive faster than applause fades. Within minutes of the photos going live, the style forums and fan pages lit up with a very particular echo. Cemre is giving Major Elson Sangu energy, someone declared, and others piled in. Let them make a film together and let the industry catch its breath afterward, one fan joked. The idea didn't turn the women into rivals, it drew a line of kinship. Cemre's gown, gentle in color, clean in structure, with barely their shoulder details and an unbothered silhouette, looked neither borrowed nor loud. It looked like it belonged to her. Hashtags climbed the trending page. Hashtag Elson and Cemre, hashtag Style Sisters, hashtag Softpower. For a couple of hours, imagination became a communal sport. Treatments were written in comments, dream scripts pitched in threads, and timelines felt kinder than usual. If you're still with us, you feel this story. Hit like, drop a thought, and make sure you're subscribed to Whispers of Turkish Stars, where we don't chase headlines so much as the heartbeat beneath them. While London clapped,
Cemre's career set its own rhythm online.
Her new digital series, Platonic Blue Full Moon Hotel, started quietly and then suddenly wasn't quiet at all. A sharp, tender comedy co-starring Karim Burson and Oiko Correal, it slipped past borders and lodged itself in Spain and Italy like a song you can't stop replaying. Dialogue that flickers between witty and wistful, scenes that breathe instead of shout, proof that Turkish storytelling doesn't just travel, it arrives.
And that wasn't her only lane.
Her Netflix talk show, Goopy, became one of those unexpected miracles that everyone claims they discovered first.
It isn't loud television. It's living room energy.
Each episode feels like friends leaning in, laughing too hard, confessing mistakes, crying when they don't intend to. One viewer put it in a line that deserves to be framed: Cemre doesn't only make us laugh. She stitches something back together. In a world that polishes everything until it loses its edges, Cemre refuses to sand herself down. Barefaced selfies don't scare her.
Letting the mask slide mid-interview doesn't worry her. Showing the draft before the final cut?
She'll do it if it helps someone recognize themselves in her. This is me, she keeps saying, in all the unspoken ways.
And I am enough.
It's why people follow her with devotion. She is more than an actress. She's a curator of feeling, a storyteller who asks you to exhale, a soft-spoken revolution that you only notice after it's already changed your posture.
Her characters never arrive already perfect.
They misread the room, cry at inconvenient times, laugh too loudly in quiet spaces, botch the moment everyone else aces, then stand up again. That shape, messy, human, durable, is why the Harper's Bazaar honor made sense to anyone who has been paying attention. Empowerment, in her hands, isn't a slogan.
It's a practice.
Backstage before the ceremony, rooms buzzed with nerves and strategy.
Cemre paced differently.
Rumor had it she was pitching beats for Goopy Season 2 between lipstick checks, swapping jokes with the team, and scribbling notes on the edge of a program when a thought showed up without knocking. That's the truth of her, never just attending, always building. When her name was finally called, her shoulders rose for a breath and then softened.
On stage, amid the gold and velvet, her voice trembled just enough to make it real.
Women's stories live where we laugh and ache at the same time, she said.
I want to follow every one of those threads. The applause didn't end so much as transform into a standing wave.
In the back rows, you could see a few guests swipe at their eyes and pretend the lights had done it. By morning, British outlets had already reached for a phrase, and it fit like a tailored jacket, the global face of Turkish humor. Not the kind that mocks or hardens, but the kind that salts sweetness with truth and lets people relax into themselves. As for Gawkberg and Cemre, their bond wasn't born last week or built for cameras. It's the sort of connection that survives schedules and storms by refusing to be performative. Sometimes they collaborate. Sometimes they vanish into ordinary days, breakfast at a corner place, a late-night walk with phones forgotten at home. Their banter is its own dialect, jokes that make no sense to anyone else, the glance that cuts through noise. When he posted hair, handled, it wasn't just funny. It was a signature, both of them telling the audience, we're here, we're fine, and we are not going to fake a novel for your feed. People loved it because it felt like the opposite of a press strategy, small, specific, and true. Look at the work and you see the same principle repeating. Cemre doesn't write women as bullet points. She writes them as echoes and contradictions, the way we are in the world, overprepared and underprepared at once, afraid and brave in the same hour. Whether it's a screenplay that asks a difficult question, a scene that resists the easy laugh, or a talk show moment where silence is allowed to stretch until it says what words can't, she keeps making space for complexity. That's empowerment, to not just success, but permission. So when the Harper's Bazaar Award landed in her hands, the surprise wasn't that it happened. The surprise was that it took this long. A carpet walked, a caption posted, a sweetly ridiculous comment from the person who knows her best, and beneath it all a simple current: be real. Be gentle. Be yourself, and let the rest follow. What did you feel watching Cemre collect that honor? Was this the moment that should have arrived years ago? And be honest, wouldn't you pay to see her and Elsin Sanga share the screen and set a new axis for what a modern Turkish duo looks like? Tell us down below, share this with someone who needs a reminder that tenderness can lead, and make sure you're subscribed to Whispers of Turkish Stars, where every story we tell tries to leave you better than it found you.
Because as Cemre Arda keeps showing us, the most beautiful change begins the second you stop pretending. Later in the night, after the flashbulbs cooled and London turned hushed and blue, a few more details surfaced that made the evening feel like a chapter rather than a headline. Sources say Cemre slipped off her heels backstage and carried them like trophies, laughing about the absurdity of balancing on beauty.
Someone handed her water, someone else fixed a clasp, and she hugged each one as if she knew that awards really belonged to teams. She sent a voice note to her mother before the after-party, the kind of call where you don't need to say much because pride sounds like breathing. Meanwhile, Gawkberg fielded texts from friends who pretend they're too cool to gush and then gush anyway. When they finally stepped outside, the air was cold enough to make their skin tell the truth. They looked at each other the way people do when the noise is done, a look that says, whatever happens next, we'll carry it.
And the morning after?
Cemre woke up without makeup again, hair a soft storm, breakfast on a plate she's had since her first apartment. She opened her phone to a million red dots and read what she could, smiling at strangers who felt like neighbors for a moment. She sketched an idea for Goopy on a napkin, messaged a note to Kerem Bürsin about a beat in episode 4 that could hit harder if they let the silence hang, and sent Oyko Karayel a meme that only the three of them would find funny. She typed a quick thank you to the designer who saved the shoulder line at the last second and promised to send flowers when the florist had less chaos. There's a particular grace to someone who can be grateful and specific at once.
Cemre is like that.
She doesn't say thanks, team, and call it a day. She remembers the person who found spare tape, the assistant who rushed in with safety pins and a steady hand, the driver who told her a joke so she'd breathe after the red carpet.
These are the invisible stitches in a public night.
She sees them, and by being seen they matter more. That, in the end, is the spirit the award tried to capture, not a shiny statue under a spotlight, but a working verb that keeps choosing people over performance. And if there's a secret to why audiences across languages are leaning toward her work, maybe it's this: Cemre Arda treats attention like a borrowed dress.
Wear it well. Return it clean. Keep the stories honest, and the rest will take care of itself.